Well, for many, this pandemic has been a time of isolation and sometimes loneliness.
But for a Wadsworth woman, it's been a time of connecting with relatives she never even knew existed.
News 5's Emily Hamilton has more now on the woman who gained a new perspective and a whole new branch of her family thanks to genetic testing.
High-tech genetic ancestry tests retail for a couple $100s.
You get to find out all this information about genetics.
But the gift Tiffany Leonard received after shipping off a quick swab of her saliva was priceless.
So I didn't know a lot about my, any genetics or medical issues that ran into our family. So that's really the focus of it, was to find out that stuff. But I got a lot more than I bargained for.
Growing up, she had questions.
And I looked at the results, and that was the end of it. I never looked at it again.
But she kept that skepticism tucked away for years.
My dad used to say he wasn't really sure if I was his or not because I had white hair and everybody else had brown hair.
Her 23andMe results, she says, were hard to ignore.
You'll have lots of relatives that you are barely connected with. And he's like, no, it says first cousins and second cousins. And I was like, that's weird because my dad was an only child.
Through some digging and connecting with relatives she discovered through the Ancestry program, she discovered the man who raised her was not her biological father.
So, of course, my whole world is reeling.
And that for more than a decade, her biological dad was living just miles away.
He called me and said, I'm your dad. And I was mind blown. And I worked at the hospital for 13 years, and I passed his house for the last 13 years.
As a successful woman with 3 children of her own, Leonard says the last year has given her a mirror she never knew existed.
I can see where, where some of my qualities come from, like walking into the screen door. And that part's been really fun. You kind of just stare at each other like, holy mackerel, that's my dad.
Emily Hamilton, News 5.